Hello and welcome to the second look. This is Back of the Net. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And it's a late second look, so whether you're listening on the audio pod or you're watching on YouTube, we apologise for the delay. We're in a different location. However, we did need a few days to cogitate and ruminate over that loss to Manchester City, mate. It was a heavy loss. It was probably expected as well.
Yeah, it was a weird one, really, wasn't it? Because you go into it and there's a lot of people looking at the positives, which I can see why, and then also people going, "Oh, we've shipped 4. It was as expected." But yeah, I think obviously we'll dive into it a little bit. But I think the main issue is that we're in a position at the moment where we can't just be saying, "Oh, there's a few little positive signs there," or look, we lost 4-1 and we're in a position where we need points, we need results. And I know that this was one that we didn't expect anything out of, but I think that sort of performance, I wouldn't have minded if we'd seen that the first time round, maybe, because we've got a lot of the season to go. We're seeing how we can set up against these sort of teams. But yeah, we're in a position now where it doesn't really matter how we play. We just need points, as we saw the week prior against Wolves, where we weren't that great, but we got 3 absolutely vital points.
So, as it's later in the week, we've got the Arsenal match ahead, and we're going to have most of our conversations with a gear to being a part preview, I suppose, of the match at the Emirates, because we were playing a formation that was conducive to a team that wants to absorb rather than attack. You could say we did have attacking spells, but from the offset, it was clear that Gary O'Neill had the intention in mind of being conservative, trying to soak it up, and it didn't exactly lead to much success on the pitch for Bournemouth. We had chances here and then, but they were really few and far between. Most of the chances came later on in the game, as we're going to see when we put out some of the bits. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a few graphics that show that. So we've got an eye on the Arsenal game thinking, okay, so what's he going to do next? Is he going to play 5 at the back? Is he going to go 6, as you sarcastically suggested on Twitter? But look, Tom, I'm going to put a positive spin on things, right?
Okay.
Nobody expected us to get anything against Manchester City. We have a history of rolling over against them. We were live on TV, where this season we've never got anything, apart from 1 point against Newcastle, okay? Yeah. Haaland, Foden, Grealish, Rodri, Alvarez.
Yeah, all right.
We had Tavernier out. We did have attacking moments. We recorded the most shots in the penalty area against City this season.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, there's no trophy for that, but that's a fact. And also the second highest turnovers against Manchester City this season as well. Is it all doom and gloom?
No, off that one individual game and performance, there's not. I think a lot of the frustration is, speaking to different people, it's kind of, well, if we do this against the teams in and around us, then no problem. And I agree, but history shows that we don't do that against teams in and around us. We only saw the week before, as I alluded to, that we got a good result, but we didn't play that way against Wolves, because to a degree you can't play that way against teams around us because they won't set up like that, and they'll be doing a low block as well, and they'll be trying to counter-attack on you, so it's very different. I don't think the way the players performed was bad. I think in the system they were in, I think they counted in good moments, and yeah, we weren't clinical in either box, and that was the difference, and that's normally the difference against City. The only reason Forest got a point off them was because they had an off day, in front of goal. But yeah, I think it was more the sense that I felt just chucking in an extra defender. I don't think there's any real fault in that at all, apart from thinking they're good, so we'll chuck an extra defender in. When really that just means their midfield's going to have more space to manoeuvre, more space to play, to pick pockets, and you've got 3 centre-halves who, it's only Haaland up there, so you've got 3 centre-halves, and then you've just got players coming onto them all the time. And that will be the same sort of thing against Arsenal if you went that way. People like Rodri dictated the game, in my opinion. And you're going to have people like Ødegaard coming up who will love it if he's got a bit of space to roam. And I really felt for Lerma and Billen in the first half, and then Rothwell when he come on, and none of them done badly. But it felt like an impossible job. And they've got 3 in the middle, and then they've also got one of their fullbacks virtually coming into midfield. So, yeah, it's one of them things. I just think when they do break you down, which they always can because of the quality, it was about 12 minutes, wasn't it? Something like that. Yeah. It feels like the game plan's kind of gone, and it's so early. But listen, we could have gone 4 at the back, gone unchanged, had Tavernier available, and we still could have lost 4-1. Yeah. So, we're not going over the top with it. I think it's, Yeah, it was just a bit. I just felt a little bit. We're just chucking a defender in for the sake of it. Really, I don't think there was any real plan to.
We all know that you've had a glittering football career yourself,
Of course.
But when we were having a drink on Monday, you sort of suggested that yes, maybe going 5 at the back does change things tactically, but also maybe mentally as well. Because when you've played before, you've been shifted into a different position, and as a result, you almost know that this isn't the match that we're trying to win. We're trying to stop the opposition.
Yeah, I do think players are humans, and whatever level you're playing at. I kind of mainly played full-back a lot of the time, right back, and there'll be the odd game. I remember be the odd game and go, "You're right midfield today," and I'm not a winger, and I'd think, "Oh, that's because we're a bit." Makes sense. They're a good side. So then when I'm playing right midfield, I'm thinking, right, my job is to protect the fullback because that's why I've been put here. So I think psychologically you can't help it that even if you're trying not to, I think subconsciously you know that the manager set you up in a certain way because maybe he doesn't believe that you can take the game to him as much. Which, I don't want to be too negative about it because we are playing Man City. We shouldn't think, oh, we're better than these. We know they're better than us. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it didn't scream there was a massive shift in game plan. It was just, let's just shove another defender in. Yeah. It's easy to do it now because Tav's injured. So let's just take him out. Instead of putting Anthony in, for example, we'll just shove another defender in. Meps hasn't done anything wrong this season, so it's quite easy to do that. But yeah, I just didn't think it quite worked. And it'll be really interesting to see what we do against Arsenal, mate, because it's, Gary Neal really bigged City up before and after the game, which is understandable. A lot of managers do. They're a top side. And spoke about them like they're one of the best on the planet. Played a team that are 5 points above them. So what are we going to do with that? Not sure. But yeah, I think I always remember the Chelsea game just after the break. We randomly went to a 5 in that game. People forget it because Smith was one of the centre-halves and Stacey played. And we randomly went to a 5 against Chelsea because it was like we're playing the name. We're playing Chelsea away. Chelsea have won like 1 game since then. Yeah, they've been awful. But we went out there in that game, if you remember, didn't really do anything. We're 2-0 down at the break, I think. And it was so easy for Chelsea. And you think, they're not very good this season. And we played them like, oh my God, it's Chelsea. And played 5 at the back. So I hope we don't do that against Arsenal. But listen, like I just said then about the City game, we could go really attacking against Arsenal. It might not make a difference because they're a top side and we're not expected to get anything.
So yeah, you said that Arsenal, of course, they're on 60 points as we look at the league table. Bournemouth 39 points below them. We are in the relegation zone.
I think Arsenal are mathematically safe now, by the way.
I think they might be. I think they might be. So our stablemates below the dotted line are Everton and Southampton, and it is a dotted line. Someone in the comments said, "Why do you keep calling it a dotted line? It's a solid line." It becomes solid at the end of the season. You know, when you can overtake when it's a dotted line. You can't when it's a solid line. Okay.
I like that from you.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Anyway, and also we've got the baseline tracker table as well. When you look at it, these are where you should be expecting to get points. So based on the fact that we've got 13 home games, a win is considered a par result.
Yeah.
Whereas if you lose or if you drop points by drawing, then you lose points as well. We are with Everton and Southampton at the base of the table, -6. Fair play to Brentford that are on +14. So I suppose we're always going to keep an eye on the Arsenal game, given this is being recorded later in the week. But a lot of people say Manchester City free hit. Do you quite consider it that? I sometimes do, but then I look at some of the teams that have managed to get points from them, and recently as well, and I think, well, no, it's not. It's a game that we should be going out to compete.
Yeah, I think it's one of them. Again, goes back to that Chelsea one where we're not playing the name. It's to an extent it's a free hit, but when Forest have got something off them and Everton have got something off them and Villa have got something off them, you can't look at it as a free hit because if them teams had done that, they wouldn't be so clear of us. You know what I mean? So it's, yeah, I mean, Arsenal's going to be even tougher because obviously they're ahead of City, so they've dropped less points. But did I say it as a free hit? I certainly didn't. There was no part of me that thought we'd get something. But we're getting to a point where if we keep saying there's free hits or we're not expected or we take a point here, we're going to run out of games.
And also it just ingrains mentally into the players that when we play certain calibre of teams, then it's a free hit.
Yeah.
There's no pressure to win, so to speak, whereas there really is.
I think the Arsenal one's going to be more interesting because we have taken points of Arsenal in the past.
Yeah.
We've never done anything against City, so I kind of get...
Is that why I feel that Arsenal are more susceptible?
Maybe.
Because we've got the 3-0, we've got the 2-1.
And I think there's this thing, even though it's nowhere near to the extent of when Leicester won it, I think there is still this thought of Arsenal have got to blow up a little. Yeah, they've got to have this, which, at the moment, it isn't looking that way, but you feel like, surely when it starts getting even closer and closer, they're going to start panicking. They're a young group, and I think And there have been a few little results, haven't there, when Everton did beat them the first time round, Dyche's first game. And even like against Villa where they won, they were behind twice. So you're thinking, oh, is there something in it? Maybe it's just that, and City are just known for this absolutely unstoppable force. But yeah, I mean, I didn't expect anything. We didn't get anything, so it's not go overboard, I guess.
No, we saw the teams at 4:30. I was at Dean Court again early, mate. I've done it for 2 games in a row. Did it for Newcastle. That's to see Eddie. I wasn't fanboying over like Kevin De Bruyne and all the rest of them. He was on the bench anyway. Of course, Nathan Ake. But I was there to see the coach come in this time. So teams come out at 4:30. I did team news on the vlog, mate. Didn't have a clue what I was talking about. Bring back Tom. That's all I can say.
I wonder where I was.
One of the things I saw on Twitter that people were not kicking off about, but they were questioning the fact that we got 2 keepers on the bench, but then so had City.
Yeah.
Why would that ever happen? Isn't it just a bit of a waste, or
it's
just irrelevant, really? I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah,
so many players on the bench.
I think the fact is, it depends how you look at it, really, because the fact of the matter is, both teams, because obviously City had 2 on the bench as well. That means all their first team available options that aren't in that squad are not available. So it's basically name 2 goalkeepers on the bench or name a kid that you've got no intention of bringing on.
And do you think it's for maybe geeing up the team and a bit of motivation and stuff? You won't have a kid that stays quiet. You want to have an experienced player that can contribute in some way.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I probably would have thought that if it wasn't Randolph, it would have been Adu Ajay maybe on the bench, or Da Costa or Greenwood or someone like that. And there's a case for going, well, you might as well have him on the bench and you can chuck him on 30 seconds if the game's done. I get that, and give him that kind of feel of being in the squad. Yeah. But also, you could look at it and go, well, if I've got no intention of bringing him on, if the goalkeeper's experienced, which Darren Randolph is, maybe it's better to have him in the dressing room, have that voice there. If we don't even know if maybe Neto felt something in the week and they thought, well, we might as well.
Just in case.
I don't know. But yeah, you can't scream too much about it when Man City have also done the same. So it's what it is.
Yeah, so in terms of the formation then, going through the social media timelines, a lot of people were annoyed actually at us playing 5 at the back, and I can understand it. A lot of people deeming it negative. People would have been frantically deleting their tweets had we managed to get something from that fixture. It's always a hindsight thing, but so many people were saying it, and there's a real interesting graphic from AFCB Rob, who loves his graphs. Rob, thank you for this. And there's a lot of information here in one table, but it clearly shows that we garner more points when we're 4 at the back. 16 games we've played with 3 or /5 at the back, if you want to call it. 840 minutes played, 5 goals for, 23 against. That's 0.24 points per game won when we've played in that formation. So why does Gary O'Neill think, let's do this? Because he's probably going to do it again at the weekend.
I think, I'll try and caveat it a little bit by saying that's probably because most of the time we've gone to a 5 is against better opposition, which is probably another reason. Do you know what I mean? But
then why don't we just play to our strengths?
Well, I mean,
it's like we don't believe in ourselves.
No, it's probably a bit of that. I don't know. I don't think 5/3, whatever you want to call it, system is necessarily negative if you can implement it, in the right way. I mean, Conte's won league titles in a lot of places by playing, but he always plays over at the back. But you've got to have the players to do it. I just don't think we've ever had the players to do it. I don't, and I think that's still the case now. I think there's also a case of saying, if you pack out the midfield, we're very fortunate, you've got someone there in Jefferson Lerma who's quite comfortable with dropping into a 3 if you need to. So you can play a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, whatever you want to call it, but say to Lerma, if one of the fullbacks go, just tuck in a little bit.
Well, that's what he did against Swansea at home last year, where we 4-0. We were up in the executive on hospitality, so we had a perfect seat on the halfway line, so we could really see what was going on, and quite often he did that.
Yeah, because I remember that game. We started poorly, didn't we? And we ended up smashing them, didn't we? But we started poorly, and their fullbacks were really getting in. It was Laird at the time for Swansea, I think. And we thought, right, we need to stop them down wide. So we just tucked Lerma in and let the wing backs go a little bit. I think it was Stacey had a good game that game actually. But yeah, I think there's a case for that. And I don't see. I think not giving Lerma and Billing much help. Billing's only just dropped into that deeper role as well. I don't know. I also think Jay-Z, as much as you see him at left back and think, oh, maybe he's more of a wing back because he's so attacking. Yeah. I think he likes them combinations with someone and in a 4. But yeah, it's more I don't think it's the system, in every team, because there's teams that win things with this system. But we haven't got the players to do it. I don't think we've got the players to do it. I don't think we ever have in recent times anyway. So yeah, I was frustrated to see it. I really was. And more so, as I kind of briefly mentioned earlier, as I thought, their midfield, people like Rodri, they're so good. Why are we just giving them more space to move?
Well, yeah, exactly. Wouldn't it be better to overload the midfield rather than the defence? I know that when Jay-Z bombed on, Adam Smith got forward a little bit, but Jay-Z bombed on, it's that elbow tactic, so we did become a 4. But and we did have a few a few opportunities in the first half getting forward. But I just wondered, okay, so we went 5 at the back. You know the others that have got points from Man City this season? I'm talking the likes of Villa, Forest, Brentford, Everton. Have they sacrificed what they usually do in order to go like 5 at the back to get points, or have they just stuck to what they do?
Forest definitely went the most recently. They had a 4. And they started the season in a 5, if you remember.
Well, that's right. Steve Cook was one of them.
Yeah, they started in a 5 and obviously started the season slowly. And unfortunately, Cookie's been one that's dropped out of that, hasn't he? And then they picked up when they went to a 4, so they didn't revert back against it. They played a 4, and they were very fortunate in that game. But the fact of the matter is, they got a point. They did play a 4. So, yeah, I don't know. I do think teams tend to pack the midfield out more than they do just chuck another defender in, because at the end of the day, there's only one in that zone in Haaland, whereas you've got kind of Foden and Grealish inside kind of wingers, inside forwards that are going to tuck into the pitch. You've got Rico Lewis likes to come in, Rodri, Gundogan, Alvarez. That's the area you need to stop them. So, yeah, I was surprised a little bit. I was trying to think of different reasons, and maybe without Kelly particularly, we don't have a lot of pace at the back, and maybe one extra body in there for Haaland if he were to get in behind. We needed someone to cover over, perhaps. And we didn't. I mean, really, we dealt with him okay, I felt. But yeah, there's not. Teams probably change different bits and bobs and during a game when they play City for sure, and probably know they're gonna have to soak up a little bit more. But yeah, it's not just a given that everyone goes to a 5, because as I say, Forest didn't, and they got a point out of it. And that Leipzig game that I think was in the week coming up to us, I know Leipzig are a top side because it was Champions League. They were awful in the first half, and they were 1-0 down, and City were killing them. And they made a change at half time, went a little bit more offensive, and tried to press them up the pitch. And Leipzig could have won that game. And sometimes I think defence is the best. No, attack's the best form of defence. What I mean, so. And pin them in a little bit and give them something to worry about, because you're letting people, like Ake and Lewis from fullback, they're not really having to worry about defensive duties a lot of the time. So, yeah, it is what it is. But we'll see if we've learned from that going into Arsenal game. Different teams, but a similar calibre of player.
One of the things that Gary O'Neill said after the game was they generally put 5 on the top line, 3-2-5, mainly for a long time, a full back inside. So I felt 5-on-5 would have been a better matchup for us. I thought when we were in structure, what we were pressing and going after things, I thought we were very well organised and very good. I didn't ever think that was the issue. It wasn't a shape issue or anything like that. We could have just been better structurally. One thing I did notice was just the work rate, mate. City are unbelievable. Whenever we had the ball, whenever anyone had the ball, they were pressing, they were hounding in packs, they're so athletic, they got so much agility, and they don't give us room to breathe.
No.
And I noticed that when they played Bristol City in the Cup in the week as well. Bristol City did well for large parts of that, but over time, just their energy levels, just right to the end, and yeah, they just don't give them any space at all. I thought that Alex Scott, by the way, was very good during that, and wasn't he a target of ours?
Yeah, I think we might have missed out on him now. I think we were going for him and Semenyo, weren't we?
Yeah.
I think Newcastle coming actually. I think he might go even higher, to be honest. He looks like a good player. But yeah, Bristol City done okay in that game, I felt. But yeah, it's a pep side as well. You used to do it with Barca. Everyone talks about how good they are on the eye and how they keep the ball, but it's how quickly they win it back. Yeah. And the worry thing is, I think the only team I've seen this season that are better than that is Arsenal. The press. We saw it against Everton in the week. Just press them high up and can cause mistakes from the defence. So yeah, it's going to be a worry. But yeah, they were everywhere, mate. And it's really hard to get a foothold in the game, and you have got to play a little bit counter-attack, so to speak, against them. So I understood that part of it.
So we're looking through the chronological timeline graphic, if you're watching on YouTube, and there it is. It's a hard watch, even just looking at the minutes. It was almost metronomical, the 3 goals, one on 15, one on half an hour, and just before it, and then Foden on half time as well. We did have moments where we did get forward, but it only took 15 minutes opening the scoring, and it felt like throughout the game a number of goals that they scored were from our own mistakes and our own errors. So if you're going to score it on merit, I think City probably won 2-1. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not how games work out. But
no.
All 3 goals, we could probably pick certain mistakes out of them. But 1-0. It was just a bit of a sloppy pass on the left-hand side from Traore, which was cut out, and then it was intercepted. Bish bash bosh, the ball's in the back of the net.
Yeah, I think it's one of them. They're individual mistakes, but equally from a City's point of view, they'll be saying, yeah, but that we caused them mistakes, as you said, because of the pressing nature of them. Traore, again, this is that thing. Solanke had it a few times. They're getting the ball high up and there's nowhere to go. So they're looking for the pass, and by the time they look for the pass, they either make the wrong one or they get pressed to lose the ball.
It was Rico Lewis that cut it out, wasn't it?
Yes.
He had a really good game.
He's a good player.
I think Neil Dawson on the Vital Forum said they reckon that Rico Lewis is the best number 82 they've had for years.
Like that, yeah.
Like that,
really. But yeah, that you can see, suddenly I went, maybe I can see why if they had fallen out while they let Cancelo go, because I couldn't understand that beforehand, but he's a hell of a player. And that's what they do. They punish you when you make an error. That's just as simple as that. That's what they do. But yeah, they were on us, and you knew if you made one sloppy pass, they could punish you, and that's exactly what happened.
And plus, they move the ball so quickly. I've never seen, we seem to just take our time, find the perfect pass, but they just move really quickly, and they're technically good with it as well.
Yeah, and that's because off the ball as well, their players are just everywhere, and they're so fluid. So there's always places in them pockets. Whereas we were a bit, and teams that play against City are quite often quite kind of structured in their positions and in their roles and don't really come out of it too much, whereas their players are so fluid and everywhere. Sometimes I watch City and I go, I don't really know if Ake's playing left centre-back or left back. Don't really know. Rico Lewis is virtually centre midfield, so it's hard to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2-0 before long. Unfortunately, we haven't got that record anymore of being a team that is shut out Haaland. But don't you think that Dom looked a little bit isolated during that?
He's always isolated.
But more so.
Yeah, probably. I think, obviously, Tav's injury and what we saw in the Wolves game is Tav is one of them players that can get a little bit closer to him. And
I didn't actually think Dom had a great game, to be honest.
No, I feel for him sometimes. And there was a few times where it did feel like he has to do it all on his own here. But, I think with Billin having to go deeper because of Lewis Cook's injury, he was one that used to try and get closer to Dom. And I think Tavernier out, he was doing it against Wolves, so it did mean he was very isolated, wasn't he? Because I think you mentioned there about Gary saying 5-on-5, from a defensive point of view. Well, it wasn't really, because Lerma and Billing were part of that as well. They weren't getting forward, so it was. Yeah, we only had Traore and Ouattara occasionally in wide areas that Dom could maybe find. So yeah, it felt like it was a bit of an impossible task for him, but does usual Dom stuff, works hard, tries his best, but he didn't have his best game.
Phil Billing being deeper didn't pay any dividends when he's playing hospital balls across that Phil Foden cut out. I mean, it was a great goal in the end, but he'll look back and sure he regrets that.
Yeah, one of them again where City will go, that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're pressing them high. We're not giving them any time to force them into an error. I remember looking back, I think, I was going to say remember at the time, I didn't see it. He could have, I thought he was going to, it looked like, why didn't he cushion it back to Neto maybe? But probably feel for Bill, because he's probably trying to get us going again and trying to make a clever pass, and he just doesn't see Foden, does he? And as you say, they just punish us like they always do, mate, and that was a killer. But one for the goal at the end, I was thinking, bloody, this is literally cardboard copy of at the Etihad.
Yeah.
I think it was 3-0 at half time, and then we scored an own goal in the second half, didn't we? It was Lerma, wasn't it? And we done exactly the same with Mep scoring his own goal.
But they just got that one. Back.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. I was seeing on Twitter and stuff, and I think Jack Tanner from the Echo and a couple of other people were commenting that actually, when you look at it, and I alluded to it at the start of the show, that we had more shots. I'm taking a look at the average positions now. So these are Bournemouth's average positions. We had 4, maybe 5 in the opposition half, and then we built on that in the second half by having more. But let's look at what Manchester City did as well, because they certainly committed a number of players forward in the first half. I think they had 7 in the opposition half, but then when they brought on their substitutes, the shape changed somewhat, and then they did go a little bit deeper. I think against Forest they had the most players in an average position in the opposition half out of any match this season. They had 7 against us, so that's something to reflect on with a bit of glee there. But they did sit back.
Yeah.
And when you also have a look at the shots timeline as well, now this is really interesting. This is from whoscored.com, and we're showing you these after pretty much every goal here. You can see that as the game goes on, at 2-0, we had 1 shot registered on goal, and then at 3-0 when the game's won, this is when we're starting to get the shots, and then by 4-0 and 4-1 you can see that in red there, if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening, this probably means nothing to you. We're getting more shots on goal. So really, does that mean anything, having more shots when the team that you're playing has basically gone down from second gear into neutral?
It's one of my bugbears, really, that when people start saying how well you've done when you're 3-0 down, you go, well, they've won the game. They've got nothing to do,
and they got other competitions to think about as well to protect their players.
Well, they had De Bruyne on the bench, didn't bring him on. They took off Haaland. They brought on a kiddie for his debut. And it's... I mean, I'd love to be a substitute. Jayden done well when he come on. So easy to do. If you're an attacking substitute, so easy to do well when you're 3-0 down. Because you're just told to go out there and make something happen, get the crowd up for it, and that's what Jayden did.
You can take risks, and the crowd will probably appreciate you taking risks.
Yeah, exactly, and you always look better. Then you think, why didn't he start? But it's it does frustrate me. I remember at half time, kind of speaking to a few fans, and people said, "Oh, this could be any scoreline. This could be like Liverpool." I said, "It won't be." I said, they might get a couple second. Like, it won't be, because this is City and this is what they do, and they'll just see the game out and they'll just keep the ball and make it difficult for us. We'll have a little bit of a huff and puff because they don't need to exert themselves. And that's exactly what happened. And
it's rare that every game's a Liverpool game, is it? Where they do the same in both halves, and you see this so often. Like so often, I'm just watching a game on TV and it's a cracking first half, and you think, more of this, please. Yeah. And then the second half just completely peters out.
Yeah, I think
this was the same.
The Liverpool one is easy in hindsight to say it, but they were in a bad place, weren't they? And
they were
think
at the time.
I wouldn't be surprised if Klopp went, these lot are on the floor, we really need it here, let's just go and, do you know what I mean? Whereas Pep would have said, let's just keep the ball, let's keep it tidy, don't let them back into it, which they didn't because we scored relatively late. But yeah, I think there was a quote from Gary, I don't know exactly what it was, but Gary Neal saying, when we got the goal, I said, I thought it would have been outrageous if we hadn't scored with the amount of chances and stuff like that. I thought, we had one shot on target second half and it went in. So I don't know what he's talking about. It really does frustrate me. It's kind of this, we definitely deserve the goal. How can we only had one shot on target second half and it went in. So yeah, I think we had two on target all game, and that's the issue. And that's not saying too much of we were getting in decent areas and decent in transitions at times, but it's still that thing of which I feel like I'm saying this every week. Goalkeepers aren't having anything to do. Goalkeepers don't have to. I can't remember the last time I thought their goalie was really good today because we're not testing them enough, and that's frustrating. But proof being the pudding when we play teams that we're expected to try and hurt a little bit more. But I do think there was a little bit of I'm not sure what the word is, but you can't when you're 4-0 down, you start having a few chances. You can't read too much into that.
I did think that you mentioned Jadon Anthony. I thought Jordan Zamora as well did well. I mean, that run that he made which effectively created Lerma's goal, I thought really good, combining with Anthony and then putting the ball in for Lerma to then swipe home. I thought he did really well. He needs to sign that contract. He really does. Jadon Naz, come on, Jay-Z.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know which one you were talking about, but him and Lerma. Yeah, obviously Jay-Z's more future, so yeah, I'd like that to happen. But yeah, I think on the whole, I don't think anyone had a bad game. I don't think anyone had a really bad game at all.
Who was your man of the match?
I'm trying to think about it now, actually. Because I think Jay-Z, I think I saw online that Jay-Z might have got some man of the match award from something to do with from a Bournemouth side. I actually felt that, considering the opposition, I liked what Traore did every time he got the ball.
Well, you didn't even know this. However, the highest scoring player for AFC Bournemouth, according to Who Scored, was Traore with 7.4. Other scores range from Adam Smith with 5.6 all the way through to the likes of Senesi with 6, Zamora 6.1, Traore 7.4 as well. So good call.
He comes off, I think, at 4-0, and looking back on it, I go, well, that must have been because he's thinking, especially with what's happened to Tav, the game's gone, I can't afford him to get injured. I just felt that every time something happened, he would beat a man quite comfortably, I felt. And this was obviously from more of a wide position where he's been playing a bit more central, so it's good to know that he can do both them roles. But at the moment, I think, numbers-wise, Watara's got a couple of assists in there, but I'm still kind of think, he's still a bit raw. He's a future player that would probably be good for us, but I'm not sure yet. Traore, I think, is a level above. I really do, and I think he's gonna be massive for us. I think he's gonna pitch him with some goals, some assists, but just the way he beats them, he glides past people quite comfortably.
At Brighton, he made me really excited.
Yeah, so I am excited by Traore.
And didn't he have the most chances created in that match week as well?
Yeah, he was joint money in that weekend. So and that's against City. So yeah, really, really impressed by him, and I do think he's going to be a hell of a player for us and could play a lot of roles. So I think if there's a way of getting kind of you can't get them all in, but if you get like a Traore, Tavernier and Anthony in and around Dom Solanke, then you've got players that can beat players. And it's a shame we couldn't see Semenyo. I think Gary said after the game that he had been suffering with illness, so they thought there's no point of chucking him on when the game was gone, which makes sense, because that's a shame, because I'd like to see him, because every time he's made these cameos, I've been quite impressed.
But all is not lost, though, right? So on the Vitals forum, in all departments, a user on there, I know who he actually is. Hello, mate, you're right. But you don't. Maybe one day you will. He actually went to the game with a City fan. And the person that he was sat next to, I don't know whereabouts they were sat, but he said about the City fan, he thought we were very good, miles better than Forest. Our individual errors were punished, whereas Forest had somehow survived theirs. I did actually mention our shape, and he thought that our attacking threat was surprisingly good, but our lack of quality in the last third cost us at times. The caveat is that we both thought that the City pressure put on us when we had the ball was incredible, hunting in packs of 3 and 4 on occasions with remarkable intensity. He pointed out that it doesn't matter what shape you play if you give the ball away, as we did, but, as he said, we were trying to be very brave with it. Fair assessment?
Yeah, I certainly agree with the main difference in the game was the way they hunted us down and forced us into mistakes, because, as you say, we in transitions and stuff, we got in behind now and again. But yeah, they're a very good side, and as I said, my worry is that Arsenal are very similar in terms of hunting in packs.
So what do we do against Arsenal then? I mean, let's check out the heat maps. We're going to have a look at the heat maps, and I expect against Arsenal it will be very similar to what people are seeing on screen. They were all over us, but it's so important that we just load the midfield, not the defence, surely, because that's where their talent is as well.
Well, that's what I would like to think, because getting an extra centre half in isn't probably going to do you well in terms of, you know, keeping the ball a little bit. And if they're going to hunt you and as City did, I do think an extra body in the midfield that can calm it down. And I actually did think, I know it was a caveat, and we've just, you know, I don't want to be hypocritical because we just said about how it's easier to do better when you're behind. But I think every time Rothwell's come on, he's calmed things down quite nicely. And I think with Lewis out, because Lewis I think would be better. Sometimes he can, obviously he can be a bit too brave sometimes and get caught, but he is a good footballer on the ball. I think Rothwell's got them attributes as well. And
he did well, by the way.
Yeah, and when he played for Blackburn and stuff, he was quite box to box. So I would like to see that. Whether we will or not, I'm not so sure. But yeah, do you be a little bit more direct at times? Do you think, you know, when they're putting that pressure on, do you go, well, let's just put it over the top of their fullbacks and let's get, whether it's Ouattara and Traore or whoever's out wide, they're quick. We've got quick options out wide. Do we just go in behind their fullbacks and get them facing the other way? I think we could have done that a little bit more, especially when Rico Lewis was leaving that right fullback spot a lot, and I think we could have utilised that. And Zinchenko will probably do the same on the other side for Arsenal. So yeah, we'll probably have to be a little bit more direct against them, but not holding out too much hope, I've got to be honest.
So a lot of Bournemouth fans went into it feeling pessimistic, and they were right to be. We lost 4-1, but I don't know, felt like the reaction on social media was maybe a bit over the top. Maybe I'm wrong?
I felt it was quite split, actually. I felt there was a lot of people, you know, just really angry that we let them fall and we're rubbish and went to about 5 and it was all same old rubbish. And then there were other people going, expected that, but we actually had some good moments and didn't lie down. So I think it was quite split, which I kind of expected watching the game. I think I mentioned it right at the top of the show that if this was early in the season, I think I would be I'd lean on the more positive front and go, well, you know, we're not expecting anything, and we're looking at how we're playing against these top sides for the remainder of the season. But we're in a position now where we need to we need to get a little bit of the rub of the green like Forest did. We need to be pretty lucky, and then we need to nick a chance. Yeah. And that's what Forest managed to do without playing well. So we're not in a position to experiment and try this 5 at the back again and try different bits and bobs. We need results and quickly.
Do you reckon Arsenal will be scared of us in any way, shape or form? They won't, will they?
No. I think what will be interesting is...
they'll love it if we play 5 at the back. They'll surely love it.
Probably. I think the early kick-off is Man City, Newcastle. So that'll be interesting because, you know, whatever the result, we'll play into it a little bit. I mean, if Newcastle go and nick something off City, they'll be thinking, cool, it's a good chance. But we need to start early against them and give them something to worry about and make that crowd's going to be pumping in there because they're top of the league and it's the best side they've had in a long time, and they're all in a really good place. And we need to somehow give them an opening 10 minutes where we maybe nick a goal, have some chances that gets them worried.
Did you say the Emirates crowd will be pumping?
I'm really interested to see because...
apparently that's what I'm hearing as well. It's a completely changed atmosphere, environment. I think a lot of it down to what's happening on the pitch, of course, but...
Just a feel-good factor.
There's a feel-good factor.
I'm really intrigued to see what it's like when we obviously do a review on it afterwards, because... virtually when you go to a stadium and it's a bit quiet, you sing just like the Emirates, don't you? So, yeah, and I've always felt that the Emirates is quite, what's the word? There's a lot of people in there that you think they're not really, they're a bit touristy, it's in London and it's not always going great for them. But, it'll be interesting. I think it could be a bit different this time, which you'd expect, but hopefully we quiet them down a bit.
Yeah, so it's been a shorter second look this week. Hopefully more of you will have been able to absorb what we've been putting out via either YouTube or the audio pod. If you've enjoyed it, feel free to share it. And also thumbs up as well. I suppose it effectively forms the first part of a preview, because the second part is going to be focusing on Arsenal, the opposition, their strengths, their weaknesses. Do they have any? What teams are they going to be putting out? Our head-to-head record, all that kind of stuff. Stay tuned to YouTube tomorrow, because we're going to have that on there. But from myself and Thomas, it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure as always, mate. And who knows? Let's cause a little surprise. We haven't really done one yet. We got a few weeks where we can get a surprise. So who knows?
Up the cherries, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.